right. Hey, everybody. All right. Welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics Presents. This is the artist Andrew speaking, and we are live streaming. And once again, we are doing the Hero Hour. Make sure my set up right. Yeah, close enough. Close enough. Let me check my volume real quick. Carolina. It sounds really low. Set up right? No, maybe it's okay. Yeah, okay. It's okay. Sorry. All right, and now my camera's in focus. Hot damn, gotta love it when things start to work, right? You know? All right. Oh my God, it's hot back here. My wife has dubbed this room the sweatshop, and it is a very valid nickname for this room. Very hot back here, but it's all right. We're gonna draw. We're gonna draw. All right, I've got an idea for something I need to work on. Actually, let me raise it a little bit. Got to power up for some Starburst jelly beans. Oops, lost one. It's all right. Okay. Let's see who's all on live right now. Oh, Doug's live right now. Okay. All right, if y'all are visiting with Doug, that's fine. Hey, what's up, Mr. Kodiak?
Not much. Hey, I was sitting there waiting on Twitter for the invite.
And
then I seen you showed up, and I was like, it still doesn't say there's a message. What the heck is up with that? So I looked in there, and sure enough, there's a message. You sent the link, and there's no, hey, you have a message. So
really?
I basically have to hawk stare Twitter when I know it's about time. Today I set myself an alarm to make sure I made it.
Oh, that's so nice of you. And of course, you know I'm going to be late. So
2 minutes, no big deal.
Yeah, well,
I don't think that counts.
Avery would argue otherwise. But well.
Speaking of Avery,
and if he can come by, he'll be here.
Yep.
He told me he's got busy stuff to do. So
yeah.
But actually, I'm gonna work on designs for a new character tonight. I have an idea for a pinup in which it's a Hero and my version of Skunk Girl teaming up. Well, not really teaming up. The idea is that Skunk Girl and another character are fighting each other, and Hero's caught in the middle. And we'll see what happens. I was thinking about doing one of those classic pinup, not pinups, like first pages, where it has the title at the top and it says something like, it was going to say something like, Hero caught between two villainous vixens. And it introduces both of them, and it says, is the enemy of my enemy my friend? Type of thing.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So we'll see. I don't know if I'll go that far, but what up, Todd?
What's up, man?
Todd, man.
Oh, I'm very, very hot. It is freaking hot in this house, and I'll be so glad to move. We're moving in less than 2 weeks.
Is the air conditioner broke?
Well, no, the AC in this back room is broke, and I'm not going to spend the money to replace it. Todd, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
You're making a whole bunch of noises.
That's not me. That's Julia. She's got the Batmobile and she's running it up and down my bookcases right now.
That's awesome.
Your daughter's freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on a second.
And for some reason, man, thank you for that. All of a sudden, I just had this deja vu of doing the same sort of thing in my dad's office. Oh man, that was cool. That was fun. Trip down memory lane. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So I'm having trouble with perspective, man.
Don't we all?
All kinds of perspective.
I have no problem with perspective. I love backgrounds.
What's up, Avery?
What's up? What did
Avery?
What did you want to tell me about Kodiak? I forgot to get back.
Oh, it's all right.
By the way, Andrew.
Wait a minute. Avery's asking Kodiak something. Let him finish first.
Fine.
I was thinking about maybe mentioning it on Instagram. I think you and I both use Instagram more than Twitter.
Yeah.
I should stay. Twitter is cancer. It's getting me, man. It's getting me. I got to get away from it.
Just hit and run with your posts. Don't go look at stupid people, dude.
I know, but it's there waiting when I open it.
I've stopped using Twitter and I feel much better.
Yeah, but you got to. There's all the people that we. Yeah.
You hit and you run. You go in, you look for a couple of people you like saying something or their projects, retweet, post something of yours, and leave.
So you hit and you run, huh?
Yeah, you just hit and run, dude. You just hit and run. You go in, retweet, post.
And leave just a ton of pregnant women in your wake.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you dip in, dip out. Don't go looking for trouble.
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip. Nothing can go wrong if you just use the tip. It's scientific fact.
Oh my God, no! Please.
People tell me that a lot. Unfortunately, it was after all my kids.
Oh man, I learned a lot about life after I got married and had kids. That had I known about those things beforehand, I probably never would have had kids. But that's okay.
So what I was going to say,
Mike,
dude, Andrew.
Yes, Todd.
Strike Force Moratori.
Yes.
Not Moriarty.
Yeah, I know.
There's no AR. Those letters aren't even in the freaking word.
Yes, I know.
In that order, anyway.
Yes. For some reason,
I was screaming. I was before we hopped on. I watched the video, and it was like Strike Force Moriarty, and I'm like, no, stop saying. And you corrected yourself once, and I was like, oh, he got it, and then you did it again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know, but he can't stop himself.
Yeah, well, I know to be better. Well,
I know.
Jason commented on one of my Lego videos that I said Ninjago correctly, or is it Ninjago? I always screw it up. Ninjago.
Ninja vanish.
So, well, I got a story to tell you guys.
By the way, Andrew, before we jump into your story, I want to, because it'll take 30 minutes. Your store's looking great, dude. I was watching the videos on that as well. It looks fantastic.
Oh,
It looked like I sold part 13. It looks like you sold a heck of a lot this past weekend.
No, we move stuff around all the time. Well, I did this past weekend was probably the best weekend we've had yet, and Saturday was our best single day. So I mean, I sold a lot of stuff. It's crazy. I sell little stuff. Like my pops, I've got almost half of them are gone, and I'm very happy about that. But I sold Legos, I sold pops, I sold bundle sets of comics. I mean, I was just
it's almost like
everything.
It's almost like people love the stuff that you hate.
Well, trust me, I'm not going out and getting more of that stuff. Trust me. But people would. Well, I mean, I put them in a price that people were like, "Ooh, $2 for a pop."
Wait, Andrew's the only store owner I've ever heard is, man, those pops are selling like hotcakes. Trust me, I'm never getting those again.
Yeah.
You did hear the reason why I said they were selling like hotcakes, right?
No, because they're $2 a pop. Yeah,
$2 a piece. Yeah. Which,
well,
believe it or not, I'm still making a profit off of them. So, but all the other ones that I sold at other conventions and all that I sold for $3 or $4 a piece, pretty much paid for all the ones I had bought, and so these are me just getting rid of them.
Yeah, pops.
So,
What's people's aggravation with pops? Why do they annoy people? Is it just that they're everywhere and getting annoying, or?
Yeah, they're the next Beanie Babies. They're the next thing that everybody thinks is going to be worth something later on down the line, and eventually they won't be worth anything at all.
Anything at all.
They literally have. It's fairly incredible. I mean, they took the idea from the designer toy movement back in the late '90s with using one toy shape. You do one mold, and then you just change the deco, which is the colors. So the colors in toy design is called deco. And you just change the deco on it, and you basically have infinite product, and you don't have to spend that much money, because the most expensive thing when you're doing toy design is actually the molding and the tooling for the actual sculpture of the piece. So they took that and then just went, I don't know what how this company has so much money. There's got to be an investment or something behind it because they just got licensed crazy, man. They have everything.
Everything, yeah.
It's absolutely unbelievable.
I mean,
Like,
well, that's I was just thinking that the other day. That's not such a bad thing. G.I. Joe was awesome, but they were all the same mold.
Right. Well, sure. Well, yes and
Legends.
no. They would modify those molds because each character would have different pads, different
Like
helmets.
Right.
Right. Like if you look at the designer toy movement, it was exactly the same, except with the exception of maybe an accessory here or there. It's an absolutely great model. I'm not knocking the pops for doing it. It's the way toys should be done. In my opinion, any designer that wants to get into toy design should come up with one shape and then find a way to creatively, change the colors and change the design on the toy so that you have a series or a set or whatever you want. It's going to keep your cost in the thousands as opposed to the tens or hundreds of thousands.
Well, that's one of the things that made He-Man popular. Was the fact that they were all based on the same molds.
Right. They did the same thing that G.I. Joe did, where it was the same body mold, but then they would craft new molds to fit on top of the prototype. So they still had a prototype tooling cost because Skeletor has a different, his costume was like, I guess that would be right because the heads were different, but the bodies were the same. And then for G.I. Joe, the costumes were like plastic snap-ons.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ahmed, how's it going, man? Ahmed says he's doing good. All right, excellent. Ahmed's one of my regulars at my store, so you guys have seen him in the videos. If you've
he's
watched
more famous than us.
Well, yeah, come by the store and I'll put you in a video.
I'm working on it.
I was going to tell you the only thing that would have made yesterday or this weekend at the store better is if I had gotten a visit from Kodiak.
Oh.
I'm trying to guilt him a little bit.
Oh.
I'm about to straight up run away from home, go for a while, and just be like, "Peace out, y'all. I need some Papa Bear time. I need to get out of here."
Yeah,
man. You know what? My wife would totally understand. So.
Guys, I really got to tell you this story. Today at work, I don't know what exactly happened, but I get scam calls on my phone. I mean, pretty regularly, probably once or twice a week. I mean, it's pretty regular. But today I got like 6 or 7 in a row, and it was just
aren't they?
Crazy. But one of the ones that I got was from the we're going to lower your credit card interest rate. Just give us your credit card number and expiration date. That deal.
Yeah.
Well, the girl who was on the line, I mean, they all follow the same. They all follow the same script, right?
Yeah.
And I could tell this was like one of her first calls because she was flubbing the script. And she says to me, we can see by your credit history, you make your minimum payments on time every month, and when you can, you send more. And I'm like, yes. I mean, they all say that. Yep. And then what she's supposed to say is, which card do you have has the highest balance? Mm-hmm. But she didn't say which card has a balance. She asked me what the balance of my cards were. So I knew immediately that she flubbed the script. But I knew what she was supposed to say. So instead of, answering the question as it was supposed, I asked her to clarify. I said, could you repeat that again? And then she froze. She didn't know what to do. And she goes, hold on a second. Let me transfer you to my supervisor, which is what they say when they don't know what to say, right? So I wait, and then this other guy comes on the line, and he immediately has this cocky ass attitude, and he said he's got a heavy Indian accent, and he tells me his name's Steve, and I go, okay, hi Steve, and he thinks that I'm causing her issues, so he's immediately on attack mode, and so he says, hello sir, my name is Steve. He says to me, how's your daughter? And I went, what? So I start totally faking this. I said, what are you talking about? I don't have a daughter. And he's like, I'm sorry. And I said, she asked me a question. I just asked her to repeat it. She transferred me to you, and you ask about a daughter that I don't even have? I have a son, but I don't have a daughter. And so he immediately, he starts going back to the original script, because you know what he was getting ready to do? He was getting ready to go, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to like this, and we've got your, he was going to do something. He was going to say something bad. he was going to try to antagonize me because they don't give a crap, right? And I totally flipped the script on him, like, sir, I'm trying to get help from you guys to lower my interest rate, and you mentioned a daughter. What are you talking about? And he goes, well, okay, what credit card do you have? And I said, whoa, no, stop, go back. What does this have to do with my daughter, which I don't have? He got totally flummoxed, and he tried to go back to the script to say nothing about your daughter. And I'm like, wait, why did you ask about my daughter though? And it was just so funny how he was backtracking, and oh my God, it was hilarious.
Every epic one I've ever had, I've always like, damn, I should have recorded that. You should have recorded this one.
Well, it's all at work, so I don't have any device to do the recordings. Which if I could, I would definitely find a way to. But oh my gosh, it was so funny. But he was like, "How's your daughter?" And I'm like, "Whoa!" He immediately went in another direction, you know.
But that was it in a threatening manner, like in how way, or just
you could tell by the way he asked the question that he was getting ready to jump all over me, because he knew, based on what the girl had done by transferring the call, that I wasn't playing ball. I wasn't going to try to let them take advantage of me. So he was going to go, because I've had them go off on me before. I mean, if you listen to some of the videos that I have on YouTube, I mean, they've called me every name in the book. They even called me the N-word one time.
Yeah.
Which was
I've had them
what?
Yeah, I've had them do that.
So, but yeah, and then I had another one calling, and this girl was
It always makes me think of that thing, and I don't know where it comes from, where it's like, you mother bitch, you are a mother bitch.
Ahmed says, I was on one video, but if people want me to see more of me on other videos, I like to have video reactions. Excellent ideas for it. I mean, in the video in your channel. By the way, laugh out loud on the credit card part. Yeah. Well, then I had another girl call claiming to be from a life insurance. And she starts to ask me some questions, and I'm telling her, I already have insurance through my company, so I'm good, I'm covered. And she goes, well, we're just calling to give you other options. And I said, by the way, do you know that T-Mobile identifies your number as a scam likely when it comes up on my phone? And she was like, what? And I said, it shows scam likely.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And I said to her, I said, do people actually give you information knowing, because it's coming up as, I mean, I'm never ever going to give you any of my information ever. And she's like, well, sir, we're just trying to offer you other, and I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. She was dumbfounded. Nobody had ever told her that. And I'm like, wow. I don't, and I had the one guy on one time, and I said to him, this was just recently, and I said, does this ever work? Does anybody ever give you a valid number? I mean, really? That's when they get frustrated and hang up. Sometimes they'll screw around with me, but they want, if you're on the phone with them, they want you to give them information. And if you're not giving them information, you're wasting their time, and they end up hanging up on you.
Yeah, they call my mom so much that you remember how I dropped my phone in the pool?
Yeah.
Well, now I can't make phone calls while I'm at home. So I'm sitting there so I use Google Hangouts. I use Google to try to make a phone call. You just type the number in and it takes you up, right? So I do that, and I'm like calling all day long, just thinking she's, and actually kind of getting worried. And she finally picks up and says, what? And I'm like, Mom, it's me. And she's like, what are you calling from a restricted number for? So, yeah. She's like, only people that call me from these kind of numbers are scams.
Yep.
So it's a scam, Kodiak.
Scam.
It's a scam. That's what it is. All right. You
know what? I just downloaded Volume 2, Ghost Rider, right?
Okay.
The 90s version. All right. Now I knew that wasn't Texier's book at first, right?
Salteri, what is his name? Salteres was the breakdown artist, and Tex did like the inking.
Right, and he inks.
Javier Salteres is his name.
He is a heavy inker, so it might as well be freaking Texier. From 1 to like whatever, I still haven't. I'm in the 20s, and all the ones he inks looks like text. All the one he draws looks like text. You know, it's like he
Yeah,
gets
Kevin Nolan's very much the same way.
same
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was happily pleased with that discovery. So I'm kind of liking the whole. I'm actually reading a couple books lately because of the ability to read it on my iPad. So
Cool.
we don't start making payments again on that thing, they're gonna take it from me.
I think I read an interview once where Mark Teixeira said Javier Saltares is like his cousin or something, and that's
Oh,
how
that's
the two of them got working together was because
Oh,
of that or something like that.
That's cool.
But, yeah.
That's the dude I would love to meet. I hear he's just a bubble of energy.
Who, Mark Teixeira?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met him. I have an original Bechdel sketch by him.
I remember you saying that he was just.
I can't say it live.
Uh-oh.
Something funny. Another comic artist used to say about Mark Teixeira.
Oh. Yeah, no secondhand stories here.
It's a funny story. He does a whole bit, or he used to. This was years ago.
Oh, are you talking about Buzz?
No. Craig.
Oh, okay.
It's really funny. When I heard it, Craig was like smash drunk. It was a Hero Con after one of the parties.
There's probably a lot of stories coming out of Heroes Con.
Yeah. They're friends.
Yeah.
He was just making fun of them.
Who's friends?
Craig Hamilton and Tex.
No, he's definitely a character. He's
Oh, yeah.
definitely a character. So, all right, I got to try to figure out how to make an owl sexy. And it's not easy.
I don't even know where to go with that, man.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
Where do you go with that?
if I can actually do it, it'll be.
If you want to know how to make an owl sexy, all you have to do is go to a furry con.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
What does this tractor have to do with an owl?
I don't know. Every time they say it, it makes me think of that song. So I figured I would share the curse.
Oh, okay. Well,
And why I know that song, I'll never admit to it.
it's a what's his name song? I know who sings it.
You know what? My boy from Slipknot said something the other day. That he was on I watched it the other day. It's from years ago, but he was like on the Golden Gods red carpet, and somebody's like asking all the metalheads the same question, and it was, what closet bands or artists do you listen to? What that you're ashamed to admit to, or something do you listen to? And he's like, I'm not ashamed of anything I listen to. He's like, I'll listen to anything from Prince to, and he mentions off, he's like, don't be afraid to listen to blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, you know what? That's right. Don't be afraid to listen to Justin Bieber, Andrew. Don't be afraid. Tell it. Preach it. Announce to the world that you listen to Justin Bieber. Be proud of it.
You know what's so funny is that the only Justin Bieber song, actually there's two of them that I have, and they're both done by the Glee cast, so it's not even done by Justin Bieber. Yeah.
The only one I know is the one they mixed with Psychosocial from Slipknot. Something funny.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
Your Andrew has no idea what Slipknot is.
I'm aware that they're some type of rock and roll group.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! No.
Yeah.
He's like, yep, there you go. That explains it all, right there. Don't know why I'm friends with this person, but
So I'm sitting there showing my kids, because my kids I put on his tablet. It's actually on my tablet, but I put The Beautiful People on there. So I'm like, have you ever seen the video? So I show him a couple Marilyn Manson videos, and in Tainted Love, Jody Jorgensen, the drummer from Slipknot, in mask is on the couch, and I'm like, oh, that's the drummer from Slipknot, or ex-drummer from Slipknot. And my kid's like, why is he wearing a mask? And I'm like, I haven't showed you Slipknot. I am slacking. So I turn on Slipknot. My oldest son is like, not a fan. My other son's like, it's okay. It would be cool to, play zombies too. And my daughter's like, that's awesome.
Oh,
My
jeez.
daughter's freaking cool.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Andrew, it's like I heard that the rock band, they play the rock and roll music. It's like if you were talking about the lead singer's other band, I'd be like, okay, yeah, they're kind of a pop rock band.
Oh.
They did that Spider-Man song that was so popular.
They did a Spider-Man song.
His other band did some music.
Oh, Stone Sour.
Yeah, Stone Sour.
They did a Spider-Man. Oh, what, for the movie soundtrack?
One of the first Spider-Man movies, I think. It was a song he was on.
Yeah.
He was on a song that was, I think, unless I'm remembering wrong.
It sounds about right. It sounds like, I remember when Nickelback teamed up with Saliva, and you're like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Andrew's like, oh, I don't like the heavy metal. I don't like.
No, all he did was, hey, I like that band Nickelback.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, well, we should introduce you to Five Finger Death Punch, the Nickelback of heavy metal.
Ahmed says, Andrew, go watch the Wired autocomplete interview with David Harbour, the rated R Hellboy himself. I'm going to see Spider-Man Far From Home tomorrow. It's going to be good. Very good. And thank goodness I didn't see STD, the movie, a.k.a. Dark Phoenix. Actually, Dark Phoenix, never mind. I'm not going to defend it.
There's been some people that said they liked it. They enjoyed it. And
I like, what's her name, as Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Hell, I like any redhead. They didn't replace her with some other actress, so that's always a good thing. But
I like any redhead.
I do.
Disgusting.
I know. You know who it was that did it for me? It was Dana Meyer in Starship Troopers.
Yes. Oh,
it was the co-ed shower scene, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I think I like redheads now.
She was married to Lars Ulrich for the longest time.
She was married to who?
Exactly.
Exactly. There's no helping him.
Why did you say Five Finger Punch was the Nickelbacks of heavy metal?
Because that's the joke. They are the Nickelback of heavy metal.
What? They're like one of the most popular bands that's still like.
So is Nickelback.
That's true.
Listen to their music and compare it to all the other metal out there. They're the Nickelback of heavy metal. I'm not saying they're truly awful, but
they're truly awful.
No,
they do have a couple of songs I can listen to, but
I like Ivan.
That's a whole joke.
Yeah. It might be a thing because they got so big so fast. I don't know. I liked Motor Grader for a moment when it was before I knew who Ivan Moody was, and I like his one self album called Ghost Machine. That was straight industrial metal.
See, none of what you guys are talking about.
And I was waiting for it too. I was waiting for it. I was like I was given the pause so that Andrew could change the topic to something he knew. Oh man. Well, the only thing I had in my bag of tricks was the Ghost Riders thing.
I just remembered I got something that Kodiak might get a kick out of.
Uh-oh.
I found a bin that all right, this character is coming along. She's not there yet. I gotta work on it some more. But I have a stylistic approach to her that I want to change, but I messed up the whole scarf thing, but I'm kind of. I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. I'm gonna stop my sketch while I'm ahead because
I need to make sure that Avery knows that I'm going out there when I do finally go, because I got some gifts. I got gifts.
Man.
Yeah, I got to play. There's a place on my wall that I keep going to put something up there, and I'm like, nope, that's got something.
all right, I have something to show you, Kodiak. This is a bin of cards.
Oh, that's so beautiful. God.
Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Before we do this, I wanted to show you guys.
Oh my God!
I wanted to show you something else first. Hold on. Previews is my bathroom reading book.
It's my bad. All comics have become bathroom.
This is an advertisement for a new book coming out from a company called Ablaze. And I just want to point this all out to you because I think it's actually kind of cool. Here's the it says trick or treat. Trick or treat. Give me something good to eat. It says this Halloween, the artist of The Walking Dead, which we now know isn't drawing The Walking Dead anymore because it was canceled, brings you a new horror that you can bite into from Ablaze. It's a new book called Vampire State Building, and its writer is Engie Renaud with art by Charlie Allred, which that sounds actually pretty good. And they show some preview pages, which, it's Charlie Allred in full color. I like him better in black and white and gray, but that's all right. And they show 4 different covers. This first cover here, you see, it's a Charlie Allred cover. It's a painting. You got a vampire hand with blood on it, and also, it looks like it's painted. That looks fantastic. Then you have an alternate cover B by In-Hook Lee, which is kind of scary and so forth, and it looks great. Then you have a black and white and red cover by Charlie Allred. And then for some strange reason, you have a Infinity Gauntlet parody cover. This is supposed to be a horror book about vampires. Why would you have and it's a really bad cover too. It's not good at all. But it's a Infinity Gauntlet parody cover. Does that seem like a 180% out of place with this book?
Considering,
I understand the idea of alternate covers is to get people to buy more copies of the book, but this is a crappy ass cover that has nothing to do with the material. It's almost like if they did an Archie cover or a Casper the Friendly Ghost cover. It doesn't fit.
They're desperate.
That's way too desperate. That's way too desperate.
I wonder if Ablaze is Charlie Adlard's company or something. Because
I don't know, but I don't know. Well, they have ablazepublishing.com. I guess you can go follow them on Twitter. But this cover just totally wrong for this book completely.
Well, maybe it's the limited edition or something.
I don't care. It's just bad. It's just bad. Yeah. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth for this company.
Somebody's editor needs to be fired.
All right. So here, check this out. All right, we have a complete set, the 132 card set from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe Movie Edition. And for behind the scenes glossy card, this is a complete set.
They're just screen captures. I love those cards, like the Batman ones that were out.
Andrew,
yes.
What are you gonna do when all of the stuff that you've collected throughout your life is sold?
I don't know.
That was depressing, Todd.
Well, he's selling everything he's ever had for like $1, and it's all good stuff.
Yeah, but he's buying right now. He's getting a lot of good stuff for like 50 cents.
Yeah, well, eventually one of the days, everything will be sold. But the thing, this bin, I actually know what's in this bin. These are sets that are incomplete, and what I mean by that is I'm missing cards. I could be missing 1 card. I could be missing 10 cards. I could be missing 100 cards. But because it's not a complete set, it's in this bin. And there's a variety of crap in here. Now, my completed sets are all in plastic cases. I don't know where they're at right now. But I wanted to show you these in particular ones because I think you'd get a kick out of them. After a time, the card industry started switching to different size cards. They did these long cards, which were not. Yeah, you've seen these before, but
Spawn.
yeah, this is the DC Vertigo set.
I've
What
actually
they did. Yeah,
Oh, look at that one. That was cool.
these are all like from Sandman and so forth, and they're pretty cool. I don't have a clue why. Oh, but here's the cool ones. They did the covers, the Dave McKean covers for Sandman were in here. Dwellers.
That's a Kevin Nolan, isn't it?
That's a Kevin Nolan, yeah. There's all these different ones, and I don't think
Does it give year at the bottom of the card right there?
these are Skybox.
1999, probably.
Let's see, 94. 94.
Oh, shoot. Why didn't I see these?
These are
That is actually very odd.
Card marketed, like by '94, I had already stopped completely buying the cards.
Yeah.
Andrew, this might be going through these might be a good lead-in to tell a story about our first business together.
No, that's a whole nother story. But here's some that Todd and well, I know Todd will actually really like. It's the Wildstorm cards.
Oh yeah,
where every one was a chromium card.
Yeah,
those looked great too. Those cards looked awesome.
Oh,
they were all chrome. There's a Brian Stelfreeze, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a Brian Stelfreeze. That's a J. Scott Campbell.
My reaction.
Chris Sprouse.
Like back when you would just hope there was a hologram in the card or hope there was a special card.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then DC just upped the notch and put out a whole Superman collection that was nothing but holograms.
Yeah, Andrew will have to tell you the story sometime, man. Like with our first business together was we figured out a system for finding the packs with the hologram cards.
Yeah. Oh,
so we would go in and find the hologram card packs and then open them up and sell the packs back to the store.
Oh, this is the one.
That's a Stelfreeze.
Do you remember this one? We actually asked him, or we overheard him telling the story of this one, that he hated the coloring job on it because it's got sweat dripping down her neck, and Brian Stelfreeze says because of the way they colored it, it looks like something that's not sweat.
Oh, ew.
So yeah.
It's bitter gravy.
Jason. Oh, Cully Hamner. I was about to say Jason Pearson. That's a Cully Hamner. That's a good one.
Pearson did do some.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these cards I didn't see, and I'm not.
There's
a Jason Pearson. Yeah, that's awesome.
Not sure that the ones that I recognize weren't from the books they were from.
Yeah, I don't remember how many cards were in this set, but I've got. Was it Harris?
I got
Nick Manbat.
I think those were some of the last cards I bought. I didn't buy the whole set. I just bought a few.
Yeah, I never completed this set. That's why I have them in here, but.
What are you going to do with those? Are you going to sell them each or as incomplete sets?
I doubt they're worth anything, you know?
I want the I want the Jason Pearson ones.
Yeah, where you drew that Deadpool-looking dude, Pike.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's a Dave Johnson.
These cards, and I want to learn how to pour.
Oh, Jason Pearson Voodoo.
Man. Yeah, I remember that.
I want to learn how to pour acrylic, and I've been wanting this for a while. Just hadn't have the money to do it, and it shouldn't be too expensive. But I want to get a lot of the cards from the 90s, have them decorated out, and then pour an acrylic over them and make my art desk out of it.
I have this card signed by Adam Hughes.
Use a
somewhere else.
Use a
polyurethane.
Like a shellac?
No, resin.
Resin.
The resin will be as like plexiglass when it dries.
I think that's what I'm talking about. I think I'm just wording it wrong.
I have some art resin from a company that you can. It actually doesn't have toxic fumes. It'll still burn you if you get it on your skin once you mix it. But I
burn the cards or have an effect on the cards.
No, it won't. Although I would do like a spray acrylic on top first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would just keep the bubbles out because
I've used these things on paintings, and I did the paintings on canvas when I should have done them on those wood boards that are done like canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Because it started to make the canvas sag, and I didn't blow torch it enough to take the bubbles out.
I don't remember how many cards are in this set. I'll have to double check. But
So
yeah,
I
I've
actually
got
wrote
'em.
some paintings.
So
Got it.
low touch torching. See, I'm laying up in the middle of the night. Had all kinds of ideas of how to
You
get
can use
the
a heat
bubbles out.
gun too. You don't have to use a torch. You can use a heat gun too.
I heard something
So
about
I had a small torch. For this resin, what you do is you mix the resin, then you pour it over whatever you're going to put it on, and then you hit it with a torch,
Mhm.
and it takes the bubbles out. Or you can use a heat gun. Some people even do paintings with them, with the resin, with the paint mixed in, and do like abstracts with it. I found another artist that builds the painting up in a block in layers of a resin, where he does part of the painting, then builds up a layer of resin, then does another
Oh,
more
wow.
of the painting, then builds up more layer of resin, to where, and then your entire painting is like a block of resin, and the paint is layered.
That's a cool card.
Is that Flare Ultra?
This is
Hildebrandt?
yeah, these are all Hildebrandts. This is the Marvel Masterpiece set that they did.
I think it's a Flare
I
Ultra.
forget who did these.
Are you sure it's a masterpiece?
Yeah, no, these are Marvel Masterpiece. This is one of the later sets.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I was gonna say about the cards you was just holding and things like Ghost Rider. And some of the later cards were just screen captures from the book, but these
Well-
they actually painted for the cards. You know?
yeah, these were painted. The Marvel Masterpiece were painted for the cards, but this was like the second or no, this is like the third series, because the first series was all Joe Jusko. The second series was a variety of artists. This series is all the Hildebrandts. And I think I got probably all of them, if not. You know, it's so funny going through these. You look at some of the characters and you're like, these characters are nothing now, but then they were, you know,
They were hot poop.
they were hot poop. They were
It must have
definitely hot
taken
poop.
it must have taken so long to paint all that.
These were actually really small.
I need a hot air gun.
Like, here's one. Black Wolf. This guy he's nothing, but back then he had a series, so.
Did he really?
Yep. Oh. The Superman, the Return of Superman
Yep.
card set,
Had those. Yep.
which most of these are all the covers. Like these, and then some panels from the covers.
As I said, screen cuts,
Yep.
pictures. That's what I was wondering. You know, a lot of the CG guys are like, "Oh, I was hired to do a card," and they have this itty bitty thing, and they're drawing on it. I'm like, that's not how they used to do the cards. I mean, the cards.
If they're doing a sketch card, it is. They do sketch cards now, and those reward in a lot of different cards.
Okay, that was my question.
One of the cards you're going to get is actually an original. So what they do is they'll hire an artist to do sketch cards, like for a set of cards, and they'll send them an uncut sheet and a list of characters they're approved to draw. They will draw those. They'll go in for approvals, and they'll request which ones they want back. And, well, they say yay or nay, and they get so many of them back. And then the card set comes out, and then because they're the artist with the only one of that card, sometimes they sell them for big money.
Yeah. Check these out. These are the G.I. Joe cards that came out. I think there was only one series of these.
I have never seen those at all.
They had individual character cards. This is official G.I. Joe Battle Gear cards. Then it has special missions. These have the covers to the special missions comic. Let's see. They have different vehicles. Then we have, let's see, 1991 Recruits, Low Light, Dusty, Cobra Commander, Bat 2. I mean, these are great. I mean, you know what's so funny about these cards is that I never completed a set. I missed like one card in the entire set. So I never completed a set, but I bought pack after pack after pack after pack from when I worked at Pick and Save, one of my first jobs. And they had them, and I used my money, and I bought them over and over again. I never finished a set. But I got pretty much most of them here. I got to look and see how much of this set I actually do have. I know it was over 200 cards because, you know.
Did you just say pick and save?
Yes, I worked in Pick and Save. So did a lot of people I know, right, Todd?
I did too, yeah.
Remember all the jokes we had for pick and save that nobody would understand now?
Yes, right.
Pick your nose and stick it in your pocket.
Oh.
Then they had the original covers for the series. These are the Marvel series, so these were all fantastic issues.
That wasn't the joke, but okay.
Oh, that was our joke at the store. You pick it, you put it in your pocket. Cards 173, 174. Oh, the honor roll was the deceased people. Hey, Evan. Evan just got here, guys.
Oh,
In case you didn't know. Serpentor, Zartan, Dr. Mindbender, Raptor, Globulus, Nemesis Enforcer, the Royal Guard, Crystal Ball, General Flag, Breaker. Breaker was my very first G.I. Joe character I ever got. And he didn't come with a gun. Quick Kick.
that explains a lot.
He just had a cool outfit. I liked it. Heavy Metal, Thunder.
They actually had a
Crankcase.
Joe named Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, he was one of the early ones. Doc, when Doc died,
I'm
man,
not
that was
surprised. I'm just like, why didn't I know that?
When did these characters die? Was it in the comic?
in the comics. Yeah. I gotta check and see how much of this set I actually have. I'm gonna pull these aside. What up, Rick?
Not much. Yourself?
Piper in the
Injured.
house.
Yeah.
Rick is in the house.
What is the word on drawn and quartered this week, Rick?
Pardon?
Did you get the go ahead that you're going on the?
Oh no. I'm not on John Quarter.
Oh, you missed all the drama, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't bring it up. It's,
Yeah, we're not going to talk about this here. Rick doesn't want to talk about it. Unless Rick wants to talk about it, we're not going to talk about it.
Well, I don't care one way or another, but I think everybody's heard it except for maybe a few people, and I can tell Kodiak when we're off air. Don't need to bring any drama to your chat.
Right on. My apologies.
Oh, no problem. Hey, you
All
don't know, you don't know.
Check out these cards, guys. These were part of the Hildebrandt set, in which the cards had an embossed signature on them, and they actually had a little symbol that said Gold Foiled Signature Series. And these were like rare cards, and you could actually complete a set of these rare cards. But I have a whole bunch of these things. I mean, they're exactly like the original cards. They just have the gold embossed. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, guys, don't you remember Guardian?
no.
Yeah. Well, that's because she's a redhead. She's been replaced by somebody else by now. Oh wow, that's a great rogue.
Yeah, these came along after the cards were over. No one wanted them.
Yeah. I hate
Just
to
they
say that.
they overdid it. They overdid it.
Yes. Well, that's because if you remember, Marvel bought a card company in order to make their own cards. Yeah.
See the Bloodlines checklist.
Yeah, Bloodlines. You remember those? Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Who knows why?
Do you got all of those?
I don't know if I have a complete set. I mean, probably not. Like I said, this box is incomplete sets. But then again, I don't know. This might be a complete set. I don't know.
Because I think I might have some of those. So.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Boris.
Yeah, we're getting into naughty cards now.
Porn.
Now let me see if this was one of the. Oh, this was one of the ones where every card was a prism card.
Sparkly kind. Ugh.
Yeah.
And what do you mean porn? It's not porn. It's Boris.
I'm just trying to antagonize Andrew.
Actually, the back of the.
Why is it prism?
That was
They made the whole set a prism set. Yeah.
That was then, because the prism cards used to be the special cards for those.
What the heck is this?
What the hell?
95 Flare Ultras. I guess this was the next step in Marvel Masterpieces. Oh, and then of course, There was the games. Overpower games. I liked the Overpower cards, especially the DC ones. I liked them because they had original art on them. It's when Marvel started doing them without original art that they started to suck. What are these?
I got some of those Overpower cards too.
Yeah, I have dozens and dozens of them.
Let me know if you have a set of regular Boris.
Oh yeah, I've got a complete set of Boris. I got like series 1, 2, 3, whatever.
I'm interested. I knew who Boris was before I knew who Frazetta was.
Yeah, me too.
I may have known who Boris was before I knew who.
Oh wow, Brian Bolin card.
Was.
Brian Bolin Zealot. That's nice.
Oh, so wait, oh dang, I gotta wait. Avery, remind me to bring up Heavy Metal, the movie.
Okay.
Wow, that's a mixed set of random stuff.
Yeah, this is
Marvel 3 in there. I wouldn't mind having a Marvel 3. I'd probably end up stapling them to my wall or some stupid shit like that.
Any Marvel medals? I think it was Marvel medal.
Yeah, I don't think I was doing those then. These are all promo cards that I've gotten. Plasma, yeah, that's what we need right there. Those are worth lots and lots of money to somebody.
Isn't it funny how it kind of changed? It's not about that anymore. It's about that, oh, yeah, what it should have been about the whole time, about, like, do I have that or don't I? You know? Like, it's yeah, there's still a certain amount of what the 90s brung was is this going to be valuable? But even valuable book, what does it bring you? $100? I mean, doesn't. And then you don't have it. And I always had this rule with my wife is like we would never take anything to the flea market and sell it. If I would buy it, why go sell it? You know what I mean?
Oh, check this out. This is a Bernie Wrightson set.
Never seen that one either.
Oh no, these are Michael Plug. How could I get those confused?
Oh, look at that.
Michael Plug is awesome.
Oh, I love that one. They're all Michael Plug?
Yeah, this is a Michael Plug set.
Those look awesome.
I've never even heard that name, and I know y'all gonna yell at me for it, but
What?
yeah.
No, I mean he was indie back in the '80s. Like he's always been kind of independent.
He did do some art. Like I picked up a graphic novel of some fantasy stuff he did at Marvel at Ollie's.
Yeah.
They printed a trade. It was all Michael Plug. Some of it was painted by Plug. Some of it was painted by somebody else. Some of it was black and white.
See, the only reasons I would have collected these cards was to get the Metallic Storm cards, which were the chase cards. I collected them in order to get those. So.
Werewolves, awesome.
Hey, Psychobat, what's up? We're just going through a bin of old cards that I found. There's some Unity cards from Valiant down here. Let me see what we got here. We got more Hildebrandt cards.
Yeah, I remember you were big into Hildebrandt.
Well, I mainly collected them to get the chase cards, you know, and I have complete sets of the chase cards in another bin somewhere. Hildebrandt 2. Let's see what else we got here.
I'm more impressed by somebody who can do something simple, even though it's hard.
Oh, this is the rest of the 95 Flare Ultra cards. This is when this is where it was a whole bunch of different artists. Like there's a Boris in here, and then this is Bob Layton, and there's a whole bunch of different artists in here. I mean, there's a really cool sets. Wow, that's a Steve Rude.
Yeah, I think I begin to roll my eyes at the same place you guys roll your eyes. It's all about that first generation of set. After that, you get the occasional gem, but it's all like I did not realize how many just in that box alone. How many Marvel sets you have?
Yeah, they went too far.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Killed it.
Oh, Heroes Convention 94. I don't know what the heck that is.
Oh, those are some special cards there.
These are all Wizard cards from Wizard. Remember when Wizard had a card in each set?
Yeah, it came with the magazine. Yep.
Wildcats. Yeah, I wonder if these are actually.
Those might be worth something, dude.
Gen 13, where all the characters are green.
Those might actually be worth something.
Yeah, you never know. The wizard cards.
Oh man, I might want some of those wizard cards. That brings back so many memories.
Yeah, right.
You know how they might be worth something. All of a sudden, he wants them.
I threw that kind of stuff away.
Oh, look at that.
Jim Lee Holiday.
I hate myself.
Oh, Dale Keown Pitt.
I buckets and buckets and boxes. When the pawn shops and the card shops wouldn't buy them anymore, I dumped all the cards.
Well, I told you what I threw away, right? You know.
Which one? What? Remind me.
An early starter deck for Magic.
Oh yeah, yes.
A deck that now, I had it for years and years and years sealed. I never opened it. It just got thrown away in one of my moves because I didn't know what it was. And that's a $10,000 deck of cards.
Oh.
Is it really a 10K deck?
Yes, if you have one of those starter decks when Magic first came out and they were giving it away at all the cons, they would put it in your goodie bag.
Yep.
Those starter decks from back then, those early starter decks, sealed, are about $10,000 each.
Do you remember when Marvel did the annuals, where every annual came bagged with a card?
Yeah.
These are villains. These are super villains and heroes from the 1993 annuals. Killian, who I don't even know what. This was a Marvel character. I have no idea. Here's one, the Assassin. I have no clue what these.
Sometimes it makes you wonder. They just started picking things.
Face Thief.
They went through They just wanted to make sure they had the rights to the name in some way.
Irish Wolfhound. Chaos. Raptor.
They started going through like every character they owned that they ever created. It's like, who else do we need to make a card for to make this set bigger?
Yeah.
Oh, let's pick this character. They haven't been in books.
Extreme. I think he's the only one that's still around.
Well, it was
Oh my
probably
gosh.
also if they put a produce them that way, they kept the trademark or whatever,
Check this
because
out.
they needed.
This is the Wizard 25th Silver Anniversary POG. It says GOP. Exclusive to Wizard number 25. It's
Good
a
old
POG.
party.
You pop it out, it's a POG.
You really impress me when you find pogs, Andrew.
Yeah, I know. What's up, Commodore? Oh, actually, this is a character that is actually still around. Executioner.
Yeah.
He's actually still around.
Still around?
Yeah.
The 93 was when they was going through the Executioner song thing.
Oh yeah.
Out of 90s, is that when they introduced a crap load of heroes and nothing really was stuck in?
Hey, it's Kami. I'm
Hey.
not paying close attention. I was looking at the cards.
Pick a card, any card.
Oh, that's a Jason
Except for the most
Pearson.
valuable ones. You can't have those.
Yeah, why did I? Oh, this is a promo card. It's one of the promo cards. See, I collected every single card that was out.
I was a
there.
Larry Spellman.
I think your entire collection could probably pay for the hero printing.
I don't think so. I don't think any of these are worth any money anymore.
I can narrow it down to 4 decks that are important to me. Everything else is just slush. But these 4 decks are important to me. Marvel 1, 2, and 3. All 3 of them were important because. And the very first DC comic deck, which was like huge, like it was like all 3 of Marvel's sets together. But it was like 91 or 92 that come out, and it had all these characters I've never heard of, and my dad's like, yeah, that guy's from Green Lantern, and I'm like, what? Why does Green Lantern have a giant pig?
Because he's a bit of a pig.
Kilowog? Or
Yeah,
Kilowog?
But the very first time I seen Kilowog was in the DC set.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, a lot of artists have done such a very horrible job of drawing Kilowog.
Here's a Beavis and Butthead
Oh, I want
see-through
that.
card.
Oh, I want that.
I have no idea what that was for.
That looks cool.
Here's a card. This might actually be worth some money. This is Star
That's
Wars
cool.
Galaxy. There's a promo card for the Star Wars Galaxy Series 2 from Topps. Spring of '94. Weird. Well, I mean, it's got Boba Fett on it, so it might be worth some money. Who knows?
Yeah, but I love Boba Fett.
Yeah, people seem to have a fetish with him.
Yeah, well, Boba Fetish.
Here you go. Here you go, Rick. Here's a series of cards, a triptych of cards for the Silver Star.
Hey, is that Mike? I mean, never mind.
I know
No.
who would like. I know who would like those for sure.
That'd be interesting if you could get this like converted. Like you could copy the card, scan it, and then you could print it into like a bathroom, a couple tiles, and then you actually
Could do that.
tile your bathroom with it. Oh, does the same happen with the back too?
It says the information. Well, yeah, there's something on the back. I guess. Oh, makes a larger puzzle piece.
Ooh.
Collect all 9 puzzle pieces. Oh.
Hey, you got 3 of them.
That seems a bit puzzling.
I'd
Yeah.
add the first X-Men set to my pick.
See, I don't know if any of these are worth any money, but I tell you what, I mean, it's nice flipping through them, but damn, I can't believe I spent so much money on this crap.
I don't think stuff like this will be worth money until 100. I mean, like, it'll be the people.
Hey, you'll never know it'll be worth money because that's how like people thinking that the comics will never be worth money. That's what made them worth money because everybody threw them away.
Right. That's what my point was. Is it's gonna go through all of dumbasses like me who flushed their stuff because they got tired of hauling them around, you know, and then all of a sudden they're a magic deck. They're a magic, con deck. You know, it's
Yeah.
you know why they destroyed all the original comic books, right?
Yeah, it's the war effort. They need to recycle.
Yeah, they needed to recycle. Made a boom, and then all of a sudden, in the '80s, our that generation started noticing that, and they was like, "Oh, well, maybe this book, amazing."
Rongo, yeah.
No, that's no, Righto, because they were like,
The monsters.
they're like, oh, maybe this book, Amazing Fantasy, that I got when I was a kid, because they're in their 30s.
No. I was thinking Rongo because most comics from the 80s are almost worthless.
Yeah, but no,
This-
they weren't going after they're going for the books from when they were a kid. And all of a
Andrew, isn't that a Joe Chido?
Yeah, that was right. Oh, yeah.
we have a local guy who built a big empire on books. Now, he's a smart man and he did his own work, but a big chunk of his change was from selling my dad's 1960s comic books. His name is Ron Chamblin, and he's a big dude down here. And his first chunk of change was selling my dad's, playing middleman for selling my dad's collection. So, and he bought like, it was one of my dad's my dad always had a kind of good relationship with him, but would never talk to him. And I'm like, Dad, why don't we go to Chamblin's? He's just like, bad memories, son, bad memories. And what the bad memories was Ron Chamblin sold my dad's collection that my dad sold to him for cheap, didn't know what he had, and bought a store that's made Chamblin basically a millionaire.
All right, guys, I gotta show you guys these cards. These are Marvel cards from Marvel live and in person. These are signature cards that the actors who dressed up as the characters gave out to the kids. This one's Spider-Man. It's signed on the back by Spider-Man. And this one, believe it or not, is signed on the back by the one and only Wolverine. And he even put an X over his name. This has put my kids through college. You know, to have the real Wolverine sign a card for you. Know, great. Check this out.
Yeah,
this
even
card.
with the price of college going up. Ooh.
This is George Perez. This is George Perez's Gladiator. Once upon a time, there was he was the world's salvation. Now he may well be its destruction. George Perez's Gladiator. When all the enemies are destroyed, it's time to make new ones. The game begins in 1995. This is a Charlotte Heroes Convention limited card. I don't think this series ever happened.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember that book ever.
Yeah, I know. That is so freaking cool.
That's
Well,
what you do. That's what you do. Is you come up to them at a con and say, you'd bring up something like that. They're like,
Todd,
"What happened to Gladiator?"
This is a promotional card for a card set called Universal Monsters Illustrated.
Yeah, that's the Joe Chito, right? Something like that?
No.
Yeah,
It's
that's the monsters.
This is Mike Mignola.
The monsters.
But what it was a Universal Monsters deluxe trading card. 9 of the most famous horror and fantasy film legends of all time. 9 of the most talented artists in comics today. Each film beautifully realized in 10-card subset for a total of 90 cards. With Frankenstein by Mark Shirella.
Mark Shirella. That's what it was. That's not Mignola. That's Mark Shirella.
Hi, Shirella.
That says Mike Mignola.
The colors are Mark Shirella.
It says Mignola right there.
The colors are Shirella.
No, it's not. Because it says Bride of Frankenstein by Mike Mignola. It says Frankenstein by Mark Shirella. Bride of Frankenstein by Mike Mignola. The Island Eater by Al Williams. Dracula by Will Sportaccio. The Mummy by Kelly Jones. The Wolfman by Brian Stelfreeze. Wolfman.
Well, is he Jewish?
The Invisible Man.
It's Wolfman, Andrew.
The Invisible
Yeah,
Man by Bill. The
It's
Invisible
Man.
Man. The Invisible Man by Bill Sienkiewicz. The Incredible Shrinking Man by Dave Dorman. And The Creature in the Black Lagoon by Crash. In special bonus, 4 exclusive luminous horror glow chase cards. I don't think I ever saw a single card from this set, but this is fantastic.
Guys,
I would love to have this set. But just this is the promo card that came out.
I want to do a book called Wolfman.
Ma'am.
I announced it here.
All right, here's 2 other promos.
What the hell am I looking at?
Avery's collecting all the punches out. I'm gonna meet him. He's gonna shake my hand, and he's gonna punch me in the arm. He's like, "That you deserve that."
These are the promo cards for the
I've got an
Soyorama
idea.
sets.
I've got an idea for a book called Merc Wade, Chainsaw Sheriff. Merc Wade, Chainsaw Sheriff.
Oh, so what other ones were in there? Icon, Death Watch 2000 cards. Oh my gosh,
Just a couple of them.
these are from
Familiar, but I just think the way they're done is familiar.
they're from what's his name's Continuity Comics.
Neil Adams.
Neil Adams. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Death Watch. This is FPG cards. I don't know what those are. Let's see. That's Ultraverse.
What does FPG stand for? F in parental guidance suggested.
I don't know. Let's see. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, Playboy cards. No, we're not taking.
Oh
those
yeah,
out.
still
Yeah. Show them.
Wait, are those
Oh,
the Jason Pearson penthouse cards?
No. These are.
The
Ladies
new
of
Playboy cards. That's actually photos of
Andrew, have you been collecting Ladies of the Night Series 1?
Card number 2, At Home with DNs, January 1918.
You get your thumb over
1954.
the collector's value.
Move your thumb.
No, I'm not going to move my thumb.
He's
Those are
giving you the thumb.
These are not cards that I collected. Somebody gave these to me.
porn.
He's
Or
Collector card, series 1 of
Probably Yuli.
the
Yeah.
January edition. No, these are definitely Gerald.
is there some sort of white residue on that?
Yeah.
He's
No.
thumbing his nose up at you.
Oh, damn, Miss January looks nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unlikely story. These aren't my cards.
I'm gonna have to.
I bought them for the articles.
Yeah, just
Holding out on us.
Yeah, I am. I don't know if those are worth any money at all. Okay, here's some.
I don't know
more.
how I got this pornography.
Dude, I had a huge thing of old Playboys that I eventually left at a house that I was like, somebody
No,
got a surprise.
So don't forget to back Hero when it comes back out, kids.
Penny Baker, Miss January, 1984.
flip the card over.
Oh yeah, no, she's all there.
One of the rewards for Hero is Andrew's going to send you one of these Playboy cards.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna sell out, man.
From their lawyer, those are only jokes, and we are not responsible for any jokes. Any and all.
I'm sure Avery will buy those off you, Andrew.
I have no Playboy's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a
Hey,
set.
look, Hustler cars. Break those out.
Yeah.
I don't-
yeah.
I'm sure they made them, but I don't have any of them. Thank you very much.
Get some. Put them in there.
I think they did. I probably had some. I don't know if I still have them, but I had some. Penthouse had some.
Penthouse was my go-to. It was like back in the day. Like I hated Playboy. I thought it was plastic, too fake.
Oh god, they did have
I didn't buy Playboy that often because, well, I wanted to see a lot more naked women than what you could get from a Playboy.
Yeah.
Andrew, stop counting your cards and show us something cool.
Yeah. Before I
What's
understood,
that?
Stop counting the cards and show us something cool.
Oh
I'm
god.
trying to see how much of the set I have.
I know, but we don't want to watch you count numbers.
Oh, check
I
eBay.
put it on free rotate, so if you guys talk, it'll show your screens.
okay, so I got something. I recently got a download. It was a gift of just about all the heavy metal magazines. Okay, and I can it's some work and it's some doing, but I can put it on Google Drive and then share it over to my iPad. Once I discovered that, oh man, I'm off to the races. So I've been reading some really cool stories. So I come across this 2008 book. And I'm like, holy crap, this is the one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. So I'm looking at it and I just want to know how to get Avery to sign a digital copy.
I had two stories and two different.
Oh, really? See, I looked it up, and which one? Which is the other one?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's one cover is like just sort of a close up of a woman's face.
Oh, you have a cover?
No, I didn't do the cover.
Oh.
It's just one of them. This woman has like centipede like armor.
Is it around the same year?
It might be a year or two later. I sent the stories in at the same time. Heavy metal, when you send them stuff, if you write your own story and send it to them, they go, hey, this is good enough, and they throw it in a pile for when they need something that size.
Gotcha.
If you're nobody. And then, if they use it, they send you a check.
That's cool.
One of them is November of 2008, because that's the one I have. I am missing the other one.
That's the one I seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to know what the cover looks like to tell you if that's the first one of it. What was the story called?
Oh, give me a second. I got it right here. This is the opportunity for me to say something really off-putting and grotesque. It was called Calling the Deep.
Okay. That actually is the basis for the Children of the Deep. That story it just totally changed. It's changed, but that's sort of how Children of the Deep starts out. But it's changed. There's a lot more to it.
Over the weekend, I read the entire run up to current of Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
Mm.
And surprisingly, it was actually it was pretty good. It was pretty.
Al Ewing doesn't like us very much.
Yeah, I know he's a douche on Twitter, but you know what? Separate art from artist a little bit because
amen to that one.
It was a really the only thing that I didn't like about it. The only thing that I didn't like about it is that you have to know Hulk lore in order to get some, like, it's still tied to the Marvel universe. So they don't like tell you like Hulk will say something like Bucky no or whatever, or I mean that's Captain America, but it would be like Rick James no, and you're like if you didn't know who Hulk is and you didn't really know who Rick James was, you wouldn't really know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Doc Samson, it's like, well, who is that? What, like, there's not a lot of backstory to introduce the characters, and that's the only thing for me that's actually stopping me from getting the hardback and giving it as a good present, because the story is fantastic. It's really good. I think it's probably, and the guy Joe Bennett, the artist, I think I've never been a fan of his work, but his drawing of monsters and the Incredible Hulk, I think it's the best Hulk since Dale Keown. It's really good. It's really good.
That is very, very high praise.
It is really good. Yeah, I mean, I would even say Joe Bennett's Hulk is better than Brian Hitch's.
I do not actually think I have the full set as I thought I did. No, that's 12 months. I'm thinking once it got into the 2000s, I was about to ask if Heavy Metal started. Were they every month back in 2008?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I believe they were monthly.
Yeah, I'm definitely missing some months in 2008 and 2009, and I do not have 2010 at all. So, dang it.
Yeah, I don't look it up, man. I don't even have. I don't even think I have. I only have my copies for one of them. The second story I never got paid for anyway.
What is Heavy Metal magazine like nowadays?
Couldn't tell you. Haven't bought an issue since then, and I never will again.
Yeah, I can't remember the last. Yeah, I do remember the last time I bought one was when Avery was in it. So
Did they go? Well, is there a main reason, or is it just?
I don't know.
Just
Don't know.
Let me
But,
check the website.
yeah, and that was. Remember, I told you to remind me about Heavy Metal. That wasn't it. What was it? Was I haven't seen that movie in ages, and I didn't. When I seen it, dude, I remember the animation is so fast and blah blah blah. I didn't realize how just simplistic and just like, whoa, that's kind of almost rotary, if you will.
Rotoscope.
Yeah, it's almost shaky and glitchy. But anyways, so I downloaded. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this so that my kids can watch it when they're supposed to go into bed. We're all sharing the same room because no air conditioner means the whole family's camping out in our room.
I believe I just did some research, and I believe that. Let's see. Can I share? Let me see. Tell me if I'm wrong, Avery. I believe that this was the other cover because it wasn't. What the reason I don't have it actually is because it's not in normal continuity. I don't know what they were doing or what they were thinking.
I think it's a special issue.
Yeah, it was this one. Yeah,
Yes.
that's it, right?
That one.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the. I mean, it's on. Yeah, it's actually listed on Comic Book DB. It's the Living Dead specials.
2011.
Living Dead special spring 2011.
Do you have Cluster?
I do have Cluster. Yeah,
Well, you have the story that's in that then.
yeah. But I'm a completionist.
You know that short story about the guy that stops at a gas station and has the hallucination?
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I
It's like
remember
the
that.
hills have eyes kind of thing.
Yeah. I remember that
Yeah,
one.
it's in there.
Yeah, I've got Cluster. I've got. Let's see what I got from Avery, and I've got everything of Andrew. I've got I've got an entire shelf of Andrew.
Do
That's
you have
ridiculous.
Cluster 2?
You know what? I don't know if I have Cluster. I've got In the Shadows from 2012.
Oh, the sketchbook.
In Shadow, yeah. I've got that Heavy Metal. I've got Cluster Volume 2.
Okay, you don't have the first one.
I've got Cluster Volume 1. Haha.
Okay, you do have them both.
Screw you. I've got I've got 2 copies of Surreal Adventures of Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
I've got Scribble.
Oh yeah, this the sketchbook.
Yeah. And then I've got Bruce the Spruce, which is the masterwork. This is a masterwork.
I hate
it is. It is.
And that's what I got for Avery. For Andrew, I could just. I mean, it's like a freaking shelf. I think I've got every ash can, and every book, and sketchbook.
Well, we need somebody to become, the who's the guy that takes care of the estate? Who,
They didn't
you know,
have any of the role playing games that I did.
like the librarian.
No, I don't have the White Wolf stuff.
The Andrew Museum.
Todd, I couldn't even tell you, and it'd be hard to find a list because the people that update those wikis don't update them.
Well, those things are the ones that are worth money, man. Like I can't. Those are hard to find.
Yeah.
Those are the things that people don't get rid of, as crazy as it is.
I looked for those too. I couldn't. Not even close.
Yeah.
All right, we're down to 2 viewers, and I'm fairly certain one of them's me. So is anybody else out there still watching?
No.
You drove
Oh.
everyone away. Good job.
No.
So,
Well, all the important people are on the stream, you know? No, I'm just kidding. No offense to anybody out there, but
That's very offensive, Andrew.
it's what happened. Oh, shut up, man.
Gosh, they give and they give and they give, man. And all you do is hurt them.
They bend over and they bend
over. Everything I do, everything I say.
It's true.
It's for the love of the game.
All right, let me finish this because this is funny. So, like I said, it's been a good 17 years at least since I've seen heavy metal.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I remembered the scene with Den. I remembered where he's like, my dork's hanging out. And I remember he laid down with the girl. And I remember her nipples looked like flowers. And I was like, it'll be funny. My kids will be half asleep and they'll be watching the cartoon. They won't even notice, right? So I turned it on. I downloaded it. I turned it on, right? I'm like 2 seconds in, and my favorite, which is the kind of noir detective thing, and that character, the lady, the femme fatale in that.
Lilo Dower, yeah.
Yeah, she's straight up slutty, and I forgot about that scene. And I'm like, oh, gotta afford it, like immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I tried to get past that, and I was like, I turned it off after Din started.
Yeah.
I was like,
Look at that scene and look at the beginning of Fifth Element.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh.
It's sort of part of where they got the inspiration. There's another story too that they took from too.
Yeah. When I first seen Fifth Element, I had already seen heavy metal, and I immediately went, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, so then I went to my wife and like to tell the same thing to make her laugh. And I'm like, I was 17 when I first saw it, and you told your story. So I was kind of telling your story about seeing it on HBO. And she's like, and I'm like, so yeah. And I'm like, how old was you when you first saw it? And she's like, I think I was 11, which is my oldest son. So, and I was like, God dang it, I can show him this. It's like, I can show him this.
No one showed me. I wasn't supposed to see it. I wasn't supposed to have my butt out of bed. It was like 3 a.m. I just woke up. I was just like, I can't sleep. I'm going to go. I had no idea what time it was. I woke up. I want to turn on HBO and watch Fraggle Rock. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
That's all I knew until I was 25.
How old was you?
Fraggle Rock. Wink, wink.
Yeah. How old was you?
Maybe 5 or 6.
7 or 8, maybe.
I don't think I was that old, but
it's just
maybe I was.
Okay.
When was Fraggle?
Go ahead.
When was Fraggle Rock on? I mean.
I loved Fraggle Rock, but I don't know.
Oh, 80s, I think.
Very early 80s. Well, I was born in 75, so.
I remember, guy. I have a couple years younger than you, and Roadhouse I was 8 when it went to cable, and I thought it was Tango and Cash because I used to think that he looked like, which he doesn't. I don't know why I thought that, but I used to think that Patrick Swayze was Kurt Russell. So late in the middle of the night, my parents were asleep, and we had free HBO that week. Remember the free HBO?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, Fraggle Rock came on and started in 1983.
Wait, the cartoon or the live action thing?
The puppets on HBO.
Yeah.
The live action.
Oh, they had HBO? That makes sense.
Yeah, Fraggle Rock was an HBO show. So I don't. Me wanting to watch Fraggle Rock may be a false memory because I know I was young, but I could have been as old as 7.
Mm.
I'm trying to remember where we lived.
That would have been 103rd, dude, wasn't it?
No. This was before I lived in Jacksonville when I saw.
Heavy metal. It's and like I said, my knowledge of the history of heavy metal, it had to be like a really short window because they lost. Like there was this lawsuit or whatever where they lost. That's why they was unable to produce it in like home media for a while. So you had this like really short window that HBO would have been able to attain the license and show it.
Yeah, but it had to have been on HBO because it was on. It was on
only place. I looked it up earlier and I was like, because I was thinking Cinemax or something like that.
We didn't have Cinemax, I don't think. But
I'm gonna go head off. See you around.
All right, Commodore, take it easy, man.
Later.
But no, the for me was Roadhouse. Like in the middle of the night, 8 years old, watching Roadhouse, and I came to that scene where where like he catches the two people in the back room doing it doggy style. And I told some kid that next day, I was teased for like a week for telling them about that scene. Yeah. That's why still to this day, Roadhouse is still a special place in my heart.
Special in your heart. That's funny.
I think it's special somewhere else in you.
Thing is I told on myself. I told on myself because it was before my dad got real. He was just starting to get religious. We watched like Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh yeah, classic.
Yeah. And he rented that from the Albertsons or something like that. And so we were still kind of watching R-rated movies. He was just getting into the religious thing. My mom had been religious for years. And so this is 1988, 89. But you know what? I don't even know this, but I could make a bet that me telling them that I watched Roadhouse in the middle of the night is probably what made him go full force. Okay, you can't watch R-rated movies anymore. Because now that I have kids and I look at this thing, I'm like, wow.
Todd, what are you going to do when your daughter tells you she wants to watch some like R-rated, really, for me it was Pulp Fiction. Is when Ayla came to me and said she had watched Pulp Fiction on TNT, and I went, no, that's not the way to watch Pulp Fiction. You can't watch it.
I don't know, man. I got a while.
You want them to stay young for as long as possible. What are you going to do when she comes to you and
you show them a Marilyn Manson video?
Fortunately, I probably won't have my eyesight or my hearing by that point.
Oh, that is absolutely true.
She'll be like 60.
Yeah, that's right. I'll probably be peeing myself. So
nice.
At least you'll have some young daughters around to help take care of you.
That's right.
It could be worse. She could come to you next year and be like, Daddy, I watched Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah. No. Man, Mark Silvestri's stuff used to kick so much ass.
It still does. Comic books suck.
He hasn't done anything in a long time, has he, though?
No.
He still draws every day, according to him. But yeah.
I'm looking at the essential collections that I have. So I'm looking at old X-Men Silvestri stuff in black and white.
Yeah. X-Men were
his X-Men run and his Wolverine run is just so good.
When you look at Silvestri stuff uncolored, every time I think of Frazetta, I think of Frazetta Plus. I think he's better than he took what Frazetta done and grew in that vibe.
Silvestri was at the time. Silvestri was way better than Jim Lee or any of those guys.
Yeah.
Like the thing that actually kind of dropped Silvestri off the top 10 was he started drawing like Jim Lee.
He started hatching and stuff like Jim.
Yeah, he started bulking up his characters and doing I understand. He started doing less storytelling and more like splash page,
But his loose stuff with like the Dan Green inks on Uncanny X-Men.
Oh yeah, they're the best.
Dude, what's crazy is when you saw those books as, a kid, and then you see like the essentials and you see Zipatone on stuff.
I love it.
That never showed up before. You're like, oh my god.
I love it. The essential collections are by far my favorite books. that's like the collection that I'm continually trying to finish off.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it, but some of them are ridiculous. Like I don't know, people are selling like X-Men Volume 10, which is the one that has Jim Lee stuff in it.
Yeah,
for
it's
like
$100. Yeah.
for like $300, dude. It's ridiculous.
I took a moment to kind of collect my thoughts because I didn't want to. This isn't fact. This is a theory. Like he mentions, I think it's on that the Image Revolutions documentary. He mentions that Jim Lee once come up to him and apologized, like, "Man, I'm sorry. I took you off of X-Men," and Silvestri was like, "Wait, that happened?" Kind of thing. And I wondered, looking at back all the books that I recognized that got me hyped just before Jim Lee took it over, I was wondering, did Silvestri do all the work, and then they took this kid that could draw pinups, and so we were actually the work that Silvestri had done, the buildup that he had done, and then the payoff was Jim Lee, and then we're like, oh yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. When Jim Lee hit, it was like substantial.
Yeah.
Like I remember that first issue that Jim Lee did.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it and I stare at it to this day, and it
yeah.
was like a creative bomb, dude. Like that guy, the minute he came out, I mean, the people don't really. I mean, at least living it, man. Like when Wildcats and Spawn and all that stuff came out, really, with the exception of Spawn, all the other guys were kind of burned out by that point. Do you know what I mean? Like Wildcats was not Jim Lee's best work. Cyberforce was not Silvestri's best work. Like they had already kind of they peaked on X-Men. They were really, really smart to go ahead and like, I don't know, man. Like it's that earlier, looser, freer.
Well, they
stuff.
mentioned why they hit it on the head, because all of a sudden they find themselves being businessmen.
Well, sure. I mean, they didn't have any time to draw. They had to run a business. Right. But like that's why the capstone. At least for me, man, the capstone of the '90s is like Silvestri's X-Men run, Jim Lee's X-Men run, Silvestri's Wolverine. That like the first 3 volumes of Wolverine, like the first 50 issues or 60 issues. About 50 issues of Wolverine are classic, because you had like John Buscema, and then you had Silvestri, you had Mark Teixeira in there. Like you had so many people just killing it, dude. I don't know, man. Even to this day, I look at the artwork from those eras and I'm like, it's just unattainable. Like it's so good. It's so good. Right before the pinup phase, where they still had the style, but it was used for like classic storytelling. You know what I mean? Like they were telling a story in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
they had an editor that actually pushed their ass.
Yeah, well, that's why if you look at like Silvestri's X-Men run, and you look at Silvestri's early Wolverine run before issue 45 or 50 or whatever, where they started to do all the pinup stuff. Even Jim Lee's stuff, most of Jim Lee's X-Men run is like legend, because it's there was only maybe they had this thing, and it changed in the 90s where they just started getting lazy and started doing pinups everywhere. But really, what as a storyteller the goal was like, okay, try to pick one panel per. I mean, the comics were at the time were written so that like you always have exciting scenes and then you always have your dull scenes. So do what you can to find one panel per page to make that the money shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that turned into the one semi pinup like image on the page that the artist would focus on, and then the rest of it was a little bit towards the back. Yeah. And if you look at the stuff from the 90s that when it was coming up, I mean, it eventually turned into every panel's a pinup. But that was later on. Like if you look at that, that's the highlight of the story. That's when you started getting like you would get a splash page, and then you would turn the page, and it would be like a double page spread,
Yeah.
and then it would be a story, and you're like,
Man, I remember how
damn.
much my dad and comic stores used to complain about that.
Oh, dude, I don't know what happened with this generation, but the fact that they don't do like first page splashes and then like some double page spread in a book is like nuts to me. I don't understand it.
I was just thinking. Now the Comic Cons got big in the late '80s, late '80s, and early '90s, right?
Mhm.
And what did you do to make your money there? You did a quick sketch. Do you think that had, or you found out, or you noticed that, hey, people want to buy. They don't want to buy Lois Lane talking to having a conversation with Superman. They want to buy Superman carrying Lois Lane, or just Superman. Do you think that had anything to do with it? Is that maybe or is that just it came natural to do the pinups?
No, I mean a lot of it. There's a couple things. I think a lot of it at the time had to do with deadline, and I think a lot of it had to do with royalties. Because once artists started getting royalties, it made more sense to do as many pinups as you could, because those things could be pulled out into T-shirts and posters and trading cards and all that, and the artists would get the royalties. So it kind of started to spike the storytelling because it became more about the residuals. And then, I mean, at that time too, like a lot of this stuff, I mean, there wasn't during that period of time, man, like that decade, there weren't late books. Like, everyone was still working with like Dark Horse and Marvel and DC and maybe Valiant, but like books were not late. You know what I mean? Like they were doing like bi-weekly. They were pumping out so much stuff. But,
you didn't hear a thing about being late until Image.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
People actually don't produce these just magically and quickly?
Yeah. What? It doesn't just happen?
I think that's the first time you started hearing it as a fan of, oh, this book is late. What does that mean?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said though. Like I'm looking at these old X-Men Silvestris. It's just like the characters were and a lot of these scenes were small, almost looked like figurines. You know what I mean?
I was going to say probably till we started getting the comic shops, we wouldn't realize comics were late. You have the pull list.
I was just thinking today last night when I was looking at those Ghost Rider books, I'm like, wait a minute, issue number 1 was in number 1, which came in 91 or 90. I can't remember. I was looking at it last night, but I still can't remember. It was on the shelves for months, not just 1 month. It was on for months and months. It was on to issue 3 and 4, and it still had other issues from when you would walk into a grocery store and they used to have comic books. Some of those books could be in there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
well, we live in a whole new world now, guys. So, all right. Well, listen, we only have 2 people watching. I'm pretty sure I'm one of them, and nobody's said anything in the chat in a while, which I have been paying attention to the chat. So I'm going to wrap up the stream.
but before you do, a whole new world. Da, 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 da. No one to tell us no or where to go.